Star Wars is a galaxy built on legends, on stories that stand the test of time, on heroes who rise, fall, and redefine what it means to fight for something greater than themselves. It is a saga that has given us some of the most iconic characters in cinematic history, but it is also a franchise that has stumbled, that has struggled to find its identity in the modern era. And nowhere is that struggle more apparent than in the character of Rey, a figure meant to carry the weight of the Jedi, yet one who never quite felt like she had earned that responsibility. But what if there was still a way to fix that? What if this new movie, the one that promises to continue Rey's story, could finally do what the sequels never did? What if it could give her real conflict, real stakes, real moments of doubt and failure that force her to grow? Because if Star Wars is going to move forward, if it is going to reclaim the magic that once made it great, it cannot afford to make the same mistakes. It needs to tell a story that matters, one that is earned, one that makes people believe in this galaxy again. The problem has never been Rey herself. The problem has been the way she was written, the way her journey was handled, the way she was given everything without truly fighting for it. But there is still time to change that. There is still time to take this character and make her into something legendary. And if this new movie is willing to take risks, to challenge her, to truly push her beyond the limits of what we have seen before, it could be something incredible. Something that surprises everyone. Something that proves that even the most divisive character can become one of the greatest. In this video, we are going to break down exactly how a Rey movie could actually be good. We are going to explore the potential that has been hiding beneath the surface, the conflicts that could make her story meaningful, the kind of villain that could truly challenge her, and the deeper themes that could finally give her the depth she has always needed. Because if done right, this could be the story that redeems not just Rey, but Star Wars itself. She was introduced as a mystery, a nobody from nowhere, only for her to later be revealed as a Palpatine. Her skills seemed to come from nothing. Her abilities surpassed those who trained for years, and it felt like she was handed the legacy of the Jedi without earning it. But what if this next movie is her chance to actually prove herself? Imagine a story where Rey finally struggles, where she faces a challenge that she cannot simply walk through with ease. The sequels never gave her the true weight of failure, the kind that leaves lasting scars and forces deep change. But now, in a galaxy rebuilding after war, she could be tested in ways she never was before. A leader without guidance, a teacher without experience, a Jedi without a clear path. That is where her potential truly lies. Not in being perfect, but in being lost. Searching for meaning in a role she was never properly prepared for. Luke had mentors, Anakin had struggles, even Obi-Wan had to face impossible choices that shaped his future. Rey has yet to go through something that truly changes her at her core, and this movie could be the one to finally give her that depth. Her journey could mirror the real struggle of rebuilding something that was broken beyond recognition. The Jedi Order is gone, the Force is fractured, and Rey stands at the center of it all, with no clear direction. This is the moment where she must fight for what she believes in, not because the script demands it, but because she truly understands what it means to fail and rise again. Every Star Wars story needs a great villain, and if this new movie wants to succeed, it cannot rely on nostalgia or recycled threats. The First Order is gone, Palpatine is finally dead, and there is a power vacuum waiting to be filled. But the worst enemies are not always the ones who stand in open opposition. Sometimes, they come from within. What if the true danger is not some new Sith Lord or Imperial remnant, but something far more insidious? The corruption of the Jedi themselves, the slow decay of power without purpose, the arrogance of thinking that rebuilding an ancient order is the same as saving the galaxy. Rey could find herself surrounded by those who claim to follow the light, but whose actions prove otherwise. That would be a real conflict, something that forces her to question what being a Jedi truly means. Because, let's be honest, the Jedi have a terrible track record. They let the Sith rise, they allowed corruption to fester, and when the galaxy needed them most, they fell. Rey could be the one to finally break that cycle, but only if she realizes that repeating the past is not the answer. This movie could explore a different kind of battle, one not fought with lightsabers, but with ideology, with betrayal, with the realization that even the brightest light can cast the darkest shadow. And that kind of villain, one who truly believes they are right, could be the perfect challenge for Rey. There is something missing from the sequels that could make this movie stand out. The presence of true wisdom, of old legends returning, not just as ghosts or cameos, but as guiding forces that actually impact the story. The galaxy is in chaos, and if Rey is meant to rebuild the Jedi, she needs more than just her own limited experience. What if we finally got to see the return of Force users who were lost to time? What if hidden Jedi, survivors of past wars, or even those who abandoned the Order long ago, started to emerge? Rey would not just be the teacher, she would be the student again, forced to reconcile the mistakes of the past with the hope of the future. That is the kind of legacy Star Wars thrives on, The idea that the past always lingers, that it shapes the present whether we want it to or not. Maybe Rey is not meant to be the last Jedi. Maybe she is simply the one who brings the pieces together. And through that journey, we could finally see what the Jedi were meant to be. Not an institution, not a military force, but something greater. Something the galaxy actually needs. This is where the story could breathe, where old voices return, not to steal the spotlight, but to remind us of the long, painful road that led to this moment. A road that Rey must now walk, not alone, but with the knowledge that she is part of something bigger than herself. It is easy to say Rey will rebuild the Jedi, but what does that actually mean? To lead is to sacrifice, to make choices that hurt, to carry burdens that few will ever understand. And that is something Star Wars has barely explored when it comes to the Jedi. Think about it. Every Jedi we have followed has been part of something larger, an order, a council, a structured path that guided them. But Rey has none of that. She is alone, carrying a legacy that has been broken and rebuilt too many times to count. That is not just a challenge, that is a burden. This movie could show the real weight of that responsibility, the loneliness of leadership, the doubt that comes when every decision feels like it could lead to failure. Maybe Rey is not certain that the Jedi should even exist as they once did. Maybe she struggles to define what they should become. That uncertainty, that hesitation, that fear of making the same mistakes, that is what could make her truly interesting. Because at the end of the day, Star Wars is not just about battles and heroes. It is about choices. The ones that shape history, the ones that define legacies, the ones that determine whether light or darkness will guide the future. And for once, Rey could be forced to face a decision that is not easy, not clear, not simply handed to her. One of the biggest problems with Rey in the sequels was how perfect she seemed. She never lost a battle that mattered. She never struggled to find her place. She never truly doubted herself in a way that felt real. But that is not what Star Wars should be. It is a story about hope, but hope that comes after struggle. This movie has the chance to redefine her, to give her depth that was missing, to make her someone worth rooting for, not because she is flawless, but because she is human. She can fail, she can fall, she can question everything she once believed in. And that is what will make her journey feel real. Hope is not blind optimism. It is not simply believing things will get better. It is the determination to make things better, despite the pain, despite the failures, despite the overwhelming odds. And if this movie can capture that, it could be something truly special. Because Rey does not need to be perfect to be great. She just needs to be real. A character who grows, who changes, earns her place in the story. Not because the script says so, but because she fought for it every step of the way. A Rey movie could actually be good, but only if it learns from the mistakes of the past. It cannot be another story of destiny handed on a silver platter. It cannot be another tale of unlimited power without struggle. It cannot be another empty promise of change that never comes. It has to be something real. This is the chance to take a divisive character and make her truly compelling. To give her a battle worth fighting, a lesson worth learning, a journey worth following. Because Star Wars thrives on heroes who struggle, on legacies that are earned, on stories that mean something beyond just spectacle. The Jedi should not be rebuilt simply because they are meant to exist. They should be redefined into something new. Something that finally breaks the cycle of failure that has plagued them for centuries. And Rey should not just be the last Jedi. She should be the first of something greater. This could be the moment where Star Wars proves it can still tell a story that matters. A story that understands the past, embraces the present, and builds something meaningful for the future. But will it rise to that challenge? Or will it fall into the same mistakes once again? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to subscribe to Critical Analysis Hub for deep dives into the Star Wars movies, and check out Critical Analysis Hub Plus for case studies on Star Wars shows. Also, if you want to rep the fandom in style, check out the bio for awesome Star Wars Legos and Funko Pops. May the Force be with you. I'll see you in the next one.